sometimes while I was reading this, I was like, Aaron Sterling, your millennial is showing. Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is going to be my October wrap-up / October book haul. It's a combination because I don't have enough books to haul to make a whole separate video, so we're just making it one video. But we're just going to start from the beginning. The first book I read in October was The Score by Elle Kennedy, and I rated this book 4 stars. This book followed Dean DeLaurentis and Allie. This is the third book in the off-campus series. Yes, the third book in the off-campus series, so I'm not going to tell you the plot because it's slightly a spoiler for the rest of the series, but this is a hockey romance, a sports romance. I read it during the perfect time when I was in such a wintry mood. It really just made sense for the moment. I think this was probably my second favorite book out of the whole series, next to the first one. I still have 2 more to read, but you know, we're slowly making our way through. I really did enjoy this couple. Dean is really rich, so that was nice to read about because I got to go on a lot of rich people adventures. I always like reading about rich people, but he was like insanely owns a private island rich, you know, so that was fun to read about. Then I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and this is a new romance that everyone's been raving about, and I rated this 4 stars. It is obviously another hockey romance. It's a hockey and figure skating romance, and it's an enemies to lovers sort of, not enemies, I'd say dislike to lovers. But this deals with a lot of heavy topics, some being eating disorders, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, so just be wary of those. Other than that, I thought it was a really well done romance. It quenched my thirst for romance at the time. I was in a really huge romance mood. Basically, this competitive figure skater named Anastasia really wants to be in the Olympics, and she's been training at this really big hockey figure skating school, and something happens where one of the rinks that they practice on closed down, so the hockey players and the figure skaters end up having to share ice time. Her, Anastasia, meets the captain of the hockey team named Nathan, and they, you know, get in a little spat because she thinks he's really irresponsible for letting this big issue with the rinks happen, even though he's not really responsible, but whatever. It's just, there isn't really one set plot line. A lot goes down in this book, but it was really well done, and I'm pretty sure this is a debut novel. So I was really happy to read this, and it was really fun. Enjoyed it. Then we've got Howls Moving Castle by Diana Wayne Jones, and I rated this 3 stars. It was fun. I listened to it on audio as well as read it physically, and I had a good time. It's 3 stars because obviously the writing is a little young for my liking. You know, it's kind of a more geared towards kids book. It was a good plot. It had good characters, good visual, descriptive imagery. That's the word I'm looking for. But, you know, it just read a little young, and that's not the fault of the book. Like, I knew that going into it. I'd say I wasn't going into this looking for a new 5-star read. I knew it wasn't going to be my favorite thing ever. I just wanted a fun little time, and it provided me with that. The next book I read, which was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and I rated this 4 whole stars. This was a book about a girl named Alex, and she gets offered a full ride to Yale to be in this secret society there. And the reason why is because Alex can see ghosts. In this world, they call them greys. She could see them her whole life, and that's a very unusual thing. And the people in this secret society drink all these potions or elixirs to make them be able to see these ghosts or greys, and they can't do it. It's very painful. But Alex can do it naturally. It just happens to her. And so after she gets offered this full ride, she gets to be an apprentice under this member of the secret society called Lethe. And that guy is named Darlington, and he goes missing. And they're basically trying to figure out what happened to him. She's monitoring these cult societies, trying to balance the academics with the life of the secret society and just her responsibilities. And it's about her whole entire adventure at Yale. This book was really good. It was really spooky, lots of trigger warnings. I'm not going to say them because there's a lot and I'm going to miss some of them. Definitely go look them up if you're worried about it. I was definitely very spooked. I still think about this book to this day, especially the grays. Now, like when I'm walking around my house, I'll look over my shoulder like there's going to be a gray watching me or something, even though that's not real. Another interesting thing about this book was after I read it, I read an interview with the author, with Leigh Bardugo, and found out that she actually went to Yale and was in one of these secret societies. So all of this is not completely fiction. I mean, obviously the paranormal activity and stuff most perceive as fiction, but like the actual physical secret societies and I just looked over my shoulder. I'm getting spooked, guys. The secret societies and the places she talks about and the campus at Yale, the vibe, all that stuff is not completely based in fiction because she actually went to Yale and this was part of her experience. So that just changed my whole entire view on the book after reading this. It is the most dark academia book I have ever read in my life. Like, dark academia to a T. So if that's what you're looking for, I definitely recommend this one. Hold on, I'm gonna go lock my door. This is why I don't read scary things. I get myself so worked up. Like, I am such a wimp. Next, we've got the X Hex by Erin Sterling. This is another one that I read for my 24-hour readathon, spooky Halloween readathon. This is a romance about a witch named Vivian. She lives in this town where there's a whole college like that witches go to, but the humans don't know about it. And during her experience in college as a witch, she met this guy named Reese Penhallow, and they had a little thing. They had a little summer fling, over summer school, college, whatever. The summer fling ends pretty badly. Vivian's kind of salty about it. She's mad. She's upset. So she and her cousin, Gwen, fake curse Reese. But it ends up that they real curse him, and when he comes back to Glen Graves, I think is the town's name, a few years later, he is actually cursed. And they basically have to go on this whole quest to break the curse. It's a second chance romance. It was super cute. Let me explain my rating. I rated it 2 stars. In the beginning, I was very, very into it. I was having a great time. It was looking to be a 4-star romance for me in the beginning. And then I got to about the halfway point and I got distracted, got confused. It was my own fault. I wasn't really reading it and comprehending. I was just reading and it was just going in one ear and out the other, and like I wasn't paying attention. So I imagine if I had read it with the concentration and interest the whole way through, like I had in the first few pages, it would have been a 4 or 5-star romance for me. Now, don't let this reflection of the 2-star rating be a reflection of the book, because it really was a good book, and I was worried going into it about the witchy aspect paired with the romance in the real world. But the author, Erin Sterling, did a very amazing job of combining the two without being cliche. Okay, I'm going to be off what I was just saying and let me move to another facet of this book. Sometimes while I was reading this, I was like, Erin Sterling, your millennial is showing. It's so bad at some points. Like the Can't Be a Witch Before Coffee merch they sell at their little shop. Like, it's bad at some points. But, I didn't let that deteriorate from the story. Just know when you're reading this book that Erin Sterling's millennial shows a little too much sometimes, and that's okay. We can accept that. I just want you guys to be aware of it, because it might be triggering to some of you. That was a joke, but you get what I'm saying. There was a lot of millennial. Anyways, I give it 2 stars. That's not a reflection of the story or the writing or anything. It's really just the reflection of my experience reading it. So don't let that deteriorate your view of the book, and go ahead and read it if you feel like it. It's a great read for the spooky season, which is conveniently almost over. So sorry for recommending it to you at the end, but maybe consider it for next year's spooky season, or if you're ever in the mood throughout the year. The next book I read is going to be The Never King by Nikki St. Croix. This I also rated 2 stars. This is a dark romance, a Peter Pan retelling. Honestly, there's no plot. This was basically just smut. YouTube, I'm 18. You can't flag me on that. Basically just smut. in a Peter Pan form. So, not sorry. It was good smut, but I can't rate it higher than 2 stars because it was just purely smut. So, it was really fun. If you're looking for something like that, that's a little dark, a little twisted, a little smutty, I would go for it. It wasn't actually as smutty as I thought, which was kind of surprising. There was like a total of one whole scene, and it was 200 pages. Very little plot. There wasn't a plot. It was just smut sandwiched in with some plot. Anyways, I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. I think I kind of got my point across. I'm kind of just rambling, but if you're interested in something like that, I would definitely read. I love Peter Pan, the story of Peter Pan, and I liked how the bad parts of the story of Peter Pan were portrayed and like included, but yeah, it was basically just smut. That's all I've got to say about that. But read at your own discretion. 18 plus. Then we have a cuter romance, which was Love on the Brain. This was a 5-star read for me, let me tell you. So Ali Hazelwood's first book, The Love Hypothesis, was a 4-star read for me. It was good. It wasn't mind-boggling, like amazing 5-star romance, but it was a very good romance, and I very much enjoyed all the characters, the aspect of STEM in these books. Loved it. Great. Her novellas I liked even more. They were so good. The best novellas I've ever read in my life. Like, I would have rated them 5 stars if I felt like I could rate a novella 5 stars, but I just felt like that was wrong. But I also wanted to at the same time because they were just that good. I didn't. But anyways, those were better. And then I read this book, Love on the Brain. Best one yet. People have criticized that her books are like, it's like Adam, whatever his name is, Carl, whatever. The guy from the first book, they've just said that all her books are just that in different fonts. I disagree, actually. I think this one was way different than the first one. Maybe he's still a dark-haired, brooding love interest, but I think it's a different sort of brooding. Like, I enjoyed it so much, and the difference in female characters was they were very different. So maybe she has the same taste in men, but I won't fault her for that because I have the same taste in men as she does. So it's okay. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But this one was so good. So much, not so much better, but I think her writing and her plots and her stories get better as she writes them because this was so good. It was so cute. I loved it. It really just like there was a thrilling aspect. There wasn't really a third act breakup. Like, well, there was a little bit of one, but it wasn't that bad. And I don't know, I loved it. Oh, I think I just hit the mic. I'm sorry. But I loved it. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding trope in the beginning that was sort of angering, but honestly, it didn't bother me because I could just tell. Like, I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, he likes her so much. It's so cute. And she just didn't know it, but I was like, girl, you just wait. Oh my gosh, I'm even tearing up, like, thinking about it. I didn't even cry reading it. It was so good. I was like, girl, you just wait. I can tell he loved you so much. And he did. Oh my gosh. It was also a second chance romance, which I'm not normally into, but this was so well done. Second chance because they knew each other in college and they hated each other. Okay, so maybe it is slightly the same plot as The Love Hypothesis, but I just think this one was more well done. I don't know. It was just so good. I totally recommend this. I read it in like one day. It was so good. Okay, and then the last book I read this month, which is actually something I just finished today. Forgot to take my bookmark out of it. Let me do that. Oh my gosh. This was a reread for me. It's actually A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This was I can't decide if it's 4 or 5 stars. On Goodreads, I said 4, but honestly, I could go 5. I can't hold this forever though, because it's heavy. I'm not going to explain it to you because it's like the 4th book, so I can't like tell it to you without spoiling the rest of them. But this is a romance between Nesta and Cassian, and honestly, their romance, this book, competes with the whole ACOTAR series for me. Like, I really can't decide if I like Rhys and Feyre or Nesta and Cassian more. And the redemption arc, not the redemption arc, the character development that Nesta has and like the self-love she finds is just perfect. It's so perfect. She really does grow. And I just love it. I love this whole book. Like, it's just good. It's good. If you didn't like the first book of ACOTAR, I would honestly stick it out for this one because this one is so good. This one's definitely an 18 up read. It's like 800 pages, so not every page is that bad, but every other page, I'm just kidding. It's like, it's a thing. So just be aware of that. 18 plus read. But this is going to be the end of my wrap up portion of the video. I'm gonna move on to the haul section now. I only bought 4 books this month, which is good because I was really trying to keep the book buying urges within because, I have a video coming out on why. You should totally go watch that when it comes out. I think it comes out on November 5th. You guys should totally go watch that if you are interested in why I shouldn't buy any books other than, like, obviously my bank account, but there's other reasons. We're just gonna get into all the books I bought. The first one is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I've heard so much about this. Don't know anything about what it is at all. I just know that it looks really good. I've heard Enemies to Lovers. Love that. There's a whole series, which I love, romance series, and I'm looking for a new good one. So that fits the bill. They're good romance covers. It's cute. It's simple. It's not in your face. Romance, but it's good. So we enjoy that. We love it. Excited to read, etc. The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. I hated the Spanish love deception. I was going to say hate's a strong word, but it's really not. Like, I really did not like it at all. So hopefully this one's better. I don't know anything about what it's about. I just know it has I Heart NY shirts or hats on the front of it, which is really cute. I think it's at New York, and I love New York. Since I love New York, I'm hoping I'm gonna love this book. I actually got this off of Pango for like $10, which is pretty good because it costs $18. Then we go into 2 of the books I bought off of Amazon that I probably shouldn't have, but I did anyways. The first one being A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. God, is this book heavy. Let me put it down. It's by Monica Murphy. I don't know anything about what it's about. I just know that Sarah, I don't know her last name, Sarah on YouTube, she recommends this book. She's read it. Dark romance. I love me some dark romance. The cover actually I find really, really cute. I love this. It's like a Bible. Good Lord, this thing's heavy. But yeah, I'm really excited about reading this. But the font's really big, so it's okay. But all I know is that it's Crew and Ren, and I love those names. And I know it's a dark romance, and that's it. So I'm excited to read. The next and final book that I got this month is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is part of one of my favorite series and worlds of all time, the Caraval trilogy, and I don't know the name of this series, actually. I just know the first one is Once Upon a Broken Heart, and this is the second one in that. I don't know if there's a name for it, but the first series was the Caraval trilogy, and then we move on to this one, which follows one of my favorite characters from that series and his redemption arc, character arc, whatever. The first one was very good. I love Caraval. It's literally magical. If you have not read that fantasy book, read it, because honestly, it is one of the best fantasy books I have ever read. Keep in mind, it's YA, so it's not super dark fantasy, but it's magical and amazing. It feels like you're in Disney. When I read Caraval for the first time, I felt like I was in Disney. That was the feeling that it gave me. Disney for the first time, might I add. Not just Disney on a regular day, but Disney for the first time. It was absolutely magical. The way that Stephanie Garber writes is just, I don't even know how to describe it. She's just like a lyrical artist. Not even lyrics, because she doesn't write lyrics, but she's like a wordsmith. She slays in these books. I can't. So I bought this next one that just came out. I have no idea what this one's about. I need to refresh myself on the last book in the series because I remember it, but I also need to refresh the end of it so I know what cliffhanger we got left off on. But I'm so excited. And let me also add, it's a fantasy romance. So if you're not huge about fantasy, you still have hope. Read it. That is everything for today's video. This is going to be a longer one because of the fact that it doubles as a haul and a wrap up. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're excited about the books I read and the books you read this month, because I definitely am. I had a great month. Let me know in the comments below what you think of any of these books or anything. I'm there to talk if you want. Check out my links below, and I'll see you later. Bye.